Welcome to Onivia Highlights. These are the best highlights from the LCK Spring 2025.
Even after he pushed the lane in, so T1 know ahead of time that this is happening, but they want to go for the 2v2 here actually, as Beryl coming in, and so is Lucid. Guma in a bit of trouble. He does have the cleanse and the flash, but now gonna get stunned down. There's the cleanse, but you just can't get away from the rumble, as it is a very nice gank set up here by Dplus. Owner does come up, gets stunned, but Beryl is in a rough spot himself, so they do trade it back eventually, right?
He's dead.
Yeah, okay. Eventually, okay, they almost give the kill over to Faker, actually, which would have been nice. But Owner does pick it up.
Suboptimal. So they trade 1-for-1, but the grubs go to T1. There wasn't really any cross map. This should be a good angle for a dive, though. He's already aggroed on the turret, but I think it's fine.
Oh, well, they kind of just juggle the Ornn in between the turret, and Doran is going to go in onto Showmaker, and now he flashes, which you're already dead, so you're not going to get away anyway. Just wasting his flash, and now trying to flash in is Keria. That was never going to be a kill.
You know, he did get the flash for aiming, but if Doran had his ult, he might have lived there. Unfortunately, aiming won't have his flash for this fight.
This is going in directly on the Guma, but that is pretty deep. Keria zoning with the Pop Blossom, as Lucid getting incredibly low. He will be punished for going that deep, but they do trade it back onto the enemy jungler. Now trying to take down Showmaker, but it's not exactly working out. They finally take down Beryl, and now Showmaker 1v3, but Faker dashes over the rocks and aiming nearly full health. He's going to take a big chunk, but now DK immediately turn it around as they go way too deep for that one, and they get punished immediately by DK.
I know he's not on-hit Varus, but in these longer fights, once a kill comes free, he gets his passive, he gets so much free attack speed. As he gets multiple blight stacks, he's still going to be doing a lot as a counter. Turn on Beryl.
Yeah, turning on a Beryl here. I think Beryl is just dead. 1v3.
Yeah.
He's going to start clearing the wave.
Hey, he warded.
Yeah, nice.
He gets value. Good stuff.
Okay, they finally killed the Leona.
At the bleed.
Nice.
Fine. So the skirmish goes to the... I do think that... I forgot which patch it was exactly, but it was a patch like, I want to say 5-6 patches ago, where they changed lethality Varus, and I do think he's much more of a threat now, as Faker just going to get his turret and leaving the game is basically...
Yeah, I think it's going to go onto that control ward right there. He's getting his bar ready, but still a bit of time, so he'll be able to push a wave in first. Still doesn't have to, as you mentioned before. There's the wall. Lucid in next to the Rift Herald, as Doran gonna get stunned up. There's the smite going to Lucid. They get it. A nice ult comes in from Doran. The follow up a little bit late, but now Lucid in a rough spot, as down will go Showmaker, down will go Lucid, and now the ult goes in on aiming, who actually does survive for quite a while. And Xiu doing a decent job of zoning away. T1 can't quite put the nail in the coffin, but they did get a couple of kills and win the fight at least.
I also don't think DK, I'm not sure, see confirmed, not actually going to see that I picked up. It's a really big win for T1. They get a bunch of kills. Doran to actually get on top of Guma was unthreatened there. T1 is just saying, well, you can have the dragon. I don't really care. You're going to get the full outer ring of turrets with Faker picking up yet another.
Infernal Solo coming through, and
do agree. We'll see. Knowing DK, we are going to get a crazy Atakan setup as Beryl goes in.
Just baiting out the ult, you know. Just a normal day in the life for Beryl. And now we got, the big impale! Gets him over the wall as well! And that's the end of Owner. And T1, they were in a good spot, but now they're losing two. As big damage comes out, and the flick on a Faker into the ult from aiming. It is massive for DK, and right before the Atakan spawns.
Oh, according to Beryl's plans, I can hear Atlas yell. He's not even in low bar! As Beryl sets up a tasty bait, and guess what? They fall for it, as this should never, ever hit the mark. Although Lucy's gonna take a roll.
Don't even, what is this? Run away! There's no chance you're stealing that as Jin. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, if the wave was pushed up or salvaging, I want to hear it.
야, 니코.
Saying Nico.
빠르게. 이거 뿌리면 빠를 수 있어. 라피. 노플. 이거 없어?
No flash. Like, it feels like initially it wasn't his idea to bait them, but he called it so well.
No. We're retconning it. It was all planned, Velvet.
It might have been in his head. He just didn't say it, right? But actually, his calls afterwards were so clean. Like, he knew exactly that the Nefiri didn't have flash. He knew exactly that they were going to win the fight from the moment he got over the wall. So, credit to him. I was actually impressed by the way he called that. So, you know, for all of our memes, he is still the law master for a reason.
Oh.
Classic barrel.
Classic barrel was.
Here's a replay. I guess Faker just died. Or maybe they got his flash. Yeah.
Got flash, yeah. That's big though. Aiming still doesn't have his flash for now. So,
he's level 3.
Should be looking at getting Cyrilda's next, which is going to make his damage even more threatening. And you can see Banana Brush control, they're scared to actually go in on Lucid. And they should be, as this might be a make-or-break fight, right? Baron is spawning in about 50 seconds, and T1 calling the bluff, saying if you just fully commit to this dragon, getting an inner is nice. This isn't sole point. It looks like T1 is just going to take that, and I think this is fine.
Yeah, I think it's the right call. It doesn't feel amazing, but you shore up a little bit of your gold deficit, and also you didn't want to push into that because you didn't have any vision control. You didn't have any control over the pit, so you just aren't going to take the risk of starting it at this point in time.
There's so much AoE damage is the problem. If you're in the pit and you get toasted, or Showmaker gets on top of you,
or maybe they will just start
as well.
Oh, okay, well they started it and then they didn't. So they're trying to turn onto a Leona, not the best idea, but Barrel does get extremely low, as now Doran also not the target here. Getting onto that back line as Huge disappears, the damage was insane! As he just gets crit down. Barrel also in trouble here. Amy taking a bunch of damage as now the engage comes in from Keria, and Owner is going insane mode on this back line. Incredible play from Owner in that fight. And DK, they tried to call the bluff and they got stomped down.
Xiu thinks he's tanky, and with these items, it makes a little bit of sense, but instead he just gets one-tapped. I think it was Guma with the auto, and the fight starts off because I think it was Aiming getting a really big Q on multiple members. And it's again the flank. There's no way Lucid can actually do this, right? Yeah, I was about to say, he just doesn't have the damage. So that's going to be Baron, but maybe it was playable. The only upside for DK is that they do not give the dragon yet, but I don't think they can actually fight this, right? They're just going to watch it be taken, and DK looks like T1 but fighting just a little bit too much. T1 just biding their time. Still has less kills, by the way, than DK do.
Well, just throwing in a Pop Blossom just to try to survive, but he's going to die anyway. Nice little pick from DK. Going to take out the Nico, and Barrel doesn't get rooted either. Big seismic goes in! As all of a sudden, he goes in. I'm not sure about that one. Owner just avoids the Impale. And it's a trade. Now, I feel like this is still good for DK, even though the end of that was rough. They did take out one of the guys that had Baron and stop the push.
He'll take it.
Now we're fighting. We're looking for Guma. He's in a bit of trouble, but he does flash away. He does an incredible amount of damage at this point in time. And sticking around is DK. They're committing.
DK?
They're committing to this one, but now the Jhin is opened up. But the Jhin is low. They're trying to just run at the Jhin. It's not exactly working either. Okay, they do take him down. Xiu, though, going 1v2 on the top side. Eventually, he does die, but Owner trying to go 1v3. He takes out one, and the dogs are soaking up so much damage, but Showmaker just trade it back. And now, it's kind of an even fight. Doran has to frontline. The TP! Oh, Keria does come over, and that'll be the end of that. As both of them get taken down, and T1 win the fight eventually.
I think completely going crazy, and then here, they try to hard force. They get Guma's flash, and then because he's Jhin, and he's just have to, because they are outranged outside of that, and now T1, full ornaments across the board.
The damage dealt
definitely
tells the story that you were trying to say, that you were trying to tell. Just gonna ult Aiming
they're
here.
Falling for it.
And they're going pretty deep for the Varus as the ult comes in and Aiming goes incredibly low, does get taken out, but now Owner is so deep behind enemy lines. That's the ult back on a barrel, but still does go down. But they took out Showmaker amongst the chaos, and this is a great opportunity for T1 to potentially end the game. Xiu gets taken down by Faker, and that'll be the end. A double kill as Faker does dive the turret. And now they're looking for, they don't quite have the wave, but they're clearing it, and I think the death timers at 35 minutes should be long enough.
They will be. Doran on a tank, Guma on Jin. The T1 going to get themselves a big win here in this series, and great one to start, back and forth here. T1 though, once they got control, once that fight came through, once Shiu ended up dying, didn't really ever feel like T1 was gonna relent.